Hello, viewers. This is Paladin of Odin, and this is some more Magic the Gathering Online. This is another episode of the Standard Commentary Series, and it looks like we've got White Weenie versus Golgari Delirium. Delirium currently has a Deathcap Cultivator. He just activated his Autumnal Gloom, which is actually a really good card for its cost, provided you can get the Delirium. And he lost a Traverse the Ulvenwald. He's got a land in his graveyard now. Activating the Gloom again gets him an instant, so 3 types. All he needs is 1 more. Nissa Vastwood Seer. And White Weenie currently has a Kythian, Hero of Akros, and Double Always Watching. So his Kythian is a 4-3 Vigilance. Ooh, he's going big with something. Archangel of Tithes. Now that is a real nasty card for Golgari to have to fight against. A 5-7 Flying Vigilance is really tough to deal with. Ooh, and Kythian gets in for 4. Honestly, I was expecting him to chump block with Nissa so that he could get a creature in his graveyard. Oh, and he concedes. I was going to say, there are options to be able to get rid of the Archangel of Tides. It's quite easy with a direct kill spell. You know, ultimate price. Um, when Eldritch Moon comes out, Murderers will be back. And to be fair, there will also be some other really good Delirium cards for the Golgari Delirium deck to add in. But he lost. He conceded that game. He must not have had a way to deal with the Angel, because that was the real tough part. Because he could have chump blocked Kythian a couple of times and still been okay there. But if he couldn't stop the Angel, then yeah, that was going to be game quite easily. Alright, first turn Dragon Hunter from White Weenie. He had to mulligan down to 5 cards. Now, against a deck like White Weenie, Delirium in its current form is going to have some trouble just with the sheer volume of damage that White Weenie is capable of doing early game. Now, once Eldritch Moon comes out, there are going to be a couple of more early game options to either hold off decks like this or, possibly put you on the aggressive side. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a 1 green cost 1/1 Death Touch that gets +2/+2 when you have Delirium, so he becomes a 3/3 Death Touch. And then there's the 1 green and 1 black 2/2 that becomes a 4/4 when you have Delirium, and every time he damages an opponent, you can mill the top 2 cards of your library, I think. You know, turn 1, turn 2 drops. Most likely there'll be 4 copies in a Delirium deck because, they're really good cards, they're good for early game matchups, and because of Delirium, they get good late game as well, or mid game. So White Weenie is just rolling out the creatures. He's got his Dragon Hunter, Throbbing Inspector, Expedition Envoy, Knight of the White Orchid, and Golgari only has Nissa. So sending in the whole team. Honestly, I was going to say, I was kind of expecting you to hold back the Throbbing Inspector. This way, if he blocks, it'll be a trade. And he is going to block. So Nissa dies, Expedition Envoy dies, and he takes 2 damage and goes down to 16. Next turn, that's one of the things with White Weenie is as long as they have as long as they have gas, the longer it takes you to do something like Languish, the better it is for him. 3 creatures. If you hadn't languished, all of his creatures would have gained +1/+1 in vigilance, and that would have been what, 3, 5, 8 damage right there. That would have been half of his life total. Autumnal Gloom gets rid of a Traverse the Ulvenwald and a Kalitas. Now, that is one of the problems with Delirium is, you're having to burn cards that could very well be helpful to you. Ooh, another Always Watching and an Expedition Envoy, so he's got a 4/3 Vigilance. If worse comes to worse, Delirium can man up a Hissing Quagmire to block something like that. Ooh, another Autumnal Gloom. Just one more card type. There we go. Evolutionary Leap, so that's an enchantment. So now, let's see, what is it? At the beginning of your end step. So at his end step, he's going to get 2 4/4 Trample Hexproofs. And that's going to be really hard for White Weenie to deal with. They are big, 4/4. They have hexproof, meaning he can't target them directly. Thalia's Lieutenant, that'll bump up the Expedition Envoy to a 5/4. Pops the Clue token. And he's pretty much down to top decking. He got that one card off the Clue token, and he'll get one during his draw step next turn. But he's pretty much top decking. And if he doesn't keep drawing gas, most likely the Delirium deck is just going to build up and overrun him. So, all right. He attacks in with the Envoy, gets double blocked. So Envoy dies, one of the Ancient of the Equinox dies. And now it's pretty much up to Golgari to keep the pressure on. To the Slaughter. Good way of keeping up the pressure here. Sacrifices the Thalia's Lieutenant, and instead... I was reading the Delirium. Instead, that player sacrifices a creature and a Planeswalker. Okay. Mans up the Hissing Quagmire to get in for 6 damage. White Weenie's down to 14. Consul's Lieutenant. A really good creature. Thanks to the double Always Watching, he's got a 4/3 first strike to block with. So that can take down the Ancient without ever taking damage. But because it's Golgari, he has plenty of options to be able to deal with that creature. Ooh, Green Warden of Marasa. We're hitting the top end of his mana curve here. So that'll get him back a card. He's only got 2 mana available, though. But then again, he doesn't really have to worry too much right now. Oh, goes for the Nissa Vastwood Seer. Honestly, I was kind of expecting him to go for To the Slaughter, or possibly Kalitas. But Golgari is in the power position right now. All he has to do is keep playing stuff. But then again, White Weenie has to do the same thing. The only problem is White Weenie has to rely on a top deck. So Golgari passes the turn. There's no reason for him to attack in there. That would have just been a kill by the Consul's Lieutenant, and he would have lost his 4/4 for nothing. 4 mana Archangel of Tithes. Alright. Still getting gas for White Weenie. And again, double Always Watching gives him a 5/7 Flying Vigilance. Now, he could have attacked in there with the Consul's Lieutenant, and most likely would have gotten in for 4 and renowned his Lieutenant, because either one of these creatures would have been insta-killed because of the first strike. So Nissa gets him another forest, plays the forest, and she'll flip. and goes for +1. Finds a Dark Petition. That could give him the game here. Because he definitely has Spell Mastery. So he could pay 5, search for whatever he wants, get the 3 mana from Spell Mastery. Oh, Sidisi! I wasn't expecting that. But, you know, it lets him exploit the Green Warden, which will get him another card. And Sidisi lets him search up another card. Though it does mean that he can't do anything about that 5/7 flyer right now. So Green Warden grabs Languish. Not entirely sold on that idea. Mainly because Languish isn't going to stop Archangel of Tides. You know, if he played Languish, he'd kill Consul's Lieutenant and his Ancient, and that's it. But on his next turn, he does have the Dark Petition available. Ooh, Declaration in Stone to get rid of Sidisi. So no easy block for the Consul's Lieutenant this turn. But if he wants, that's the thing, he'd have to attack Nissa with the Archangel here. Oh, so Archangel is going to kill off Nissa, and the Lieutenant's going for his face. So honestly, I wouldn't block here. I would just take the 4 damage and save my creature, since, you know, it'd be throwing him away. And he was at 16. So, down to 12. Consul's Lieutenant becomes a 5/4. Now he has to pull out the artillery. Alright, there's Dark Petition. You know what? If he played Languish and followed it up with something like To the Slaughter, Languish would clear the board except for the Archangel, and then To the Slaughter would force him to sacrifice the Angel. Or Dark Petition for Ruinous Path to direct kill. And now plays the Languish. So the board is clear, and White Weenie is starting all over again. Oh, wow, another Archangel of Tides. That's one hell of a good pull for him. But now he is totally top decking. He is out of cards. He does have 5 mana, but that also means that of all these cards that he's played, he's only pulled 5 lands. So he's going to have a lot of lands in his deck to potentially draw here. Seasons Past from Golgari. Not a bad choice. He's got quite a few. Let's see, he's got a 0, he's got a 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 5, 3. So he grabs Evolving Wilds, Traverse the Ulvenwald, Evolutionary Leap, To the Slaughter, Languish, Dark Petition, and Season Past gets exiled. No, not exiled. Oh, that's right. It goes on back into his library. So To the Slaughter will force him to sacrifice the Archangel, and Golgari's got a fistful of cards, and White Weenie is top decking. And White Weenie draws his card and concedes. I was going to say, you know, he would have had to pull one hell of a card to be able to manage that. And the only thing that I could think of would be maybe another Archangel of Tides. But then again, we know that Golgari could kill it. So, that was 2 games. First game, White Weenie just overwhelmed him. Second game, Golgari managed to hold his own. And as I discussed, as soon as Eldritch Moon becomes legal, this deck in particular is going to get quite the boost in its early game. But I've talked enough in this game, or in this video, excuse me. So I'm going to end it here. That was White Weenie versus Golgari Delirium. And if you liked what you saw, hit that like and subscribe button for me, and I'll see you in the next video.